As the vibrant hues of summer began to fade into the muted tones of autumn, Vincent and I found ourselves at a crossroads. Despite the depth of our connection, the very qualities that defined me, my Virgo traits of perfectionism, self-criticism, and methodical nature, began to cast long shadows over our relationship. These traits, which had once been sources of strength, now seemed to create insurmountable barriers between us. The initial signs were subtle, almost imperceptible. My methodical nature, which had initially seemed charming and practical to Vincent, began to feel like an oppressive force. I meticulously planned every aspect of our lives together, from our social calendar to our weekend activities. My intentions were pure, driven by a desire to make our time together meaningful and efficient, yet the rigidity of my plans left little room for spontaneity. One evening, as I sat alone in my apartment, the dim light of the setting sun filtered through the sheer curtains, casting a melancholic glow across the room. The atmosphere was heavy with unspoken tension, a stark contrast to the warm, inviting space I had meticulously curated. The soft hum of the city outside felt distant, almost unreal as I reflected on the widening chasm between Vincent and me. My drive for perfection and my incessant self-criticism had become overwhelming. Each mistake, no matter how minor, gnawed at my conscience, replaying in my mind like a relentless echo. I held myself to impossibly high standards, and my inability to meet these expectations only fueled my self-doubt. The serene ambiance of my apartment, with its carefully arranged decor and calming scents, offered no solace against the storm of my thoughts. As autumn progressed, the vibrant leaves outside my window transformed into a tapestry of reds, oranges, and yellows, slowly drifting to the ground. The beauty of the season stood in stark contrast to the turmoil within me. I found myself increasingly lost in my own mind, the weight of my expectations pressing down on me like an invisible shroud. The soothing sounds of classical music, once a source of comfort, now only amplified my sense of inadequacy. One particularly stressful day at work left me feeling defeated. An error on an important project, though not catastrophic, felt like a personal failure. The soft glow of the streetlights outside did little to lift my spirits as I walked home, each step heavy with the burden of my own criticism. Entering my apartment, the familiar scent of lavender and vanilla did nothing to ease the tension knotting my shoulders. The warmth that Vincent and I once shared seemed to dissipate with each passing day. My perfectionism, once a strength, had become a relentless taskmaster, driving a wedge between us. I scrutinized every detail of our interactions, my mind constantly analyzing and reanalyzing, seeking flaws and imperfections. The comfortable silence that once enveloped us now felt fraught with unspoken doubts and fears. Vincent's efforts to provide comfort and support often felt like futile attempts against the tide of my self-criticism. My inability to accept imperfections, both in myself and in him, created an atmosphere of constant dissatisfaction. The soft light of the candles flickering on the mantel, casting gentle shadows on the walls, seemed to mock the darkness growing within me. As the days grew shorter and the nights longer, the strain on our relationship became more pronounced. The very qualities that made me who I was, my meticulous nature, my drive for perfection, and my analytical mind, had become obstacles to our happiness. The tranquil environment I had so carefully created now felt like a gilded cage, trapping me in my own relentless pursuit of an unattainable ideal. One evening, after yet another introspective day filled with self-doubt, I found myself alone in the living room. The crackling fire provided a warm glow, but it did little to thaw the cold grip of realization that had settled in my heart. The delicate balance I had tried to maintain had tipped, and I was left grappling with the consequences of my actions. The end of our relationship was a sobering lesson in the challenges of perfection. My Virgo traits, which had once been assets, had turned into insurmountable barriers. The realization that my own expectations and self-criticism had driven a wedge between us was a painful truth to accept. The gentle glow of the fire, the soft rustle of the wind outside, and the distant hum of the city all felt like echoes of a life that had slipped through my fingers. In the weeks that followed, I sought to understand and come to terms with my nature. Counseling provided a space for introspection and growth, helping me to confront the relentless perfectionism and self-criticism that had overshadowed my relationship. The process was painful, but it was also a necessary step toward healing and self-awareness. For me, the end of my relationship with Vincent was a profound journey of self-discovery. It was a reminder that while my Virgo traits had many positive aspects, they could also create significant challenges when left unchecked. The lessons of humility and self-acceptance were hard-earned but essential for my growth. As the final leaves of autumn fell and winter's chill began to settle, I felt a quiet determination to embrace my strengths and address my flaws. The journey ahead was uncertain, but I was resolved to navigate it with a newfound understanding of myself. The path to love and fulfillment was not without its challenges, but I was ready to face them with the same meticulous care that defined my Virgo nature.